Welcome, everybody. This is Up Your Rank FPL. We are your hosts. I'm AC. That's Bry, bringing you another episode, this time on drafts, templates. Season is right around the corner. We're about to kick off. Bry, my guy, Wagwan, what are you saying right now with your team? Tell me.
Man, I'm excited. The first game week is just around the corner. I'm ready to dive into the drafts, look at some different options. It's been a lot going on in the community, and I'm excited to dive into this and start looking at our teams, man. You ready?
Yep, I am definitely ready. So what are we bringing them today? Let's see what you got. I'm looking at your team right now. What do you think you're going to start the season with players on the pitch? How's your money getting spent? Talk to me.
All right. Well, let's dive right into it. Let's not even waste any time. As you can see, I'm going to be going with with a couple of options here, right? So screen is up. I'll start from the back and just kind of walk you through my thinking with some of the players and kind of dive into things. First thing you'll notice in the back, we have Rhea, a $4.5 million keeper, the cheapest playing keeper you can have. Right now it's Rhea, but I'm keeping my eye on what goes on in the transfer market. You know, if let's say another bigger keeper gets moved to another team, I'm definitely open to moving him. But for now, it's Rhea. I'm just kind of sticking him back there and see what happens. We got a 4.0 keeper on the bench in Matthews. His price shouldn't be changing because he's going to be moving from the Premier League. So I'm just keeping him in there for now. In the back, we definitely went big at the back. It was, one of the things that totally changed my season last year. So I'm kind of right back at it. I got starting from left to right. Reece James is back there at 6.0 from Chelsea. And I put Reece James there, and he has a big asterisk beside his name right now. If Chelsea, I'm being very serious with this. If Chelsea does not bring in another defender, if Chelsea does not look good in the last preseason game, I will be removing Reece James. His immediate kind of direct switch that I have is probably going to be Diaz because Laporte's not back. And, he's also 6.0. So it's kind of an easy swap between the two, but he's a big asterisk in the team. He is by no means nailed. I know his ownership is super high, but if he's playing center, one of the three center back spots, I'm not that interested in owning him at this moment. Right. Then I got Robertson. The trio from Liverpool is kind of a staple in everyone's team. Whether you're going with Robertson or Diaz, it's really a toss-up. I've gone with Robertson. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's no surprise there. So I've gone with Robertson, find him to be the cheaper option out of the two. He's probably not going anywhere. Trent Mainstay, I don't think anything needs to be said about Trent. Multiple 200-point plus seasons on set pieces, on free kicks, on corners, whipping in crosses into the box. He's not going anywhere out the team.
No brainer.
Right? No brainer there. Cancelo at 7.0. I am also keeping an eye on what happens in the market here. If Cucurella gets bought by Manchester City, I'm probably not that keen on owning Cancelo long term if he's going to be balancing minutes between him and Cucurella, but we'll see how it goes. For now, he seems to be nailed as any player is in that City team, so he's not going to be going anywhere. Then lastly, to round out the defense, I have a 4.5 million pound player in Diego Dallo. Now, he is another player with an asterisk. It's more so for the price and the way I want my team to be structured. If another 4.5, player comes up who's looking better, I'm open to switching him. As of now, you'll also notice, AC, I do have 0.5 in the bank. Yep. So come game week 1, Dalot could easily end up being Zinchenko. He could easily end up being, Matthew Cash, Trippier, someone who's at 5.0 if I don't find myself spending that extra 0.5 anywhere else in the team. yeah, I'm open to moving him on as well. Right.
Yep.
Then diving into the midfield, I'll get the main guy out of the way. Mo is, of course, there. He's 13.0. I
As he
think
should be.
as he should be, to be honest, when you see, from back in the day, guys like I think it was Thierry Henry getting up to 14, most should be in that range. I think this is still a little bit underpriced for him. He's not going anywhere. He'll be there all season unless something happens. You know what I mean? He also has the World Cup off. So normally we see Mo's form dip come January, February because he's playing so many games. It's actually going to be the first time in a bunch of years that he's actually going to get time off. So I can't see me doing what I did last year and taking him out come, end of February after AFCON or anything like that. Right.
Yeah, the AFCON really messed him up with respects to his form. He was tired. You could see it, but he's a machine.
Yeah, man. Like Klopp said, hey, when he came back for preseason, he was like, yo, Mo could start the season now. He's just naturally a fit guy like that. So he's not going anywhere, right? Next in the midfield, I'm going to jump to kind of the glaring one, another elephant in the room. Riyad Mahrez at 8.0. So there are two reasons Mahrez is in my team. One, I actually think based on how City's transfer activity has gone, I just see Mahrez's minutes going up. Gabriel Jesus has moved to Arsenal. Raheem Sterling has moved to Chelsea. There's not as much competition on the right wing. Foden has also not been at preseason with City. So there's just a couple of reasons that's just has me leaning towards Mahrez right now to start the season. But at that 8.0 price, there's so many other options. He could easily have been Diaz from Liverpool. He could have easily been Mason Mount, Saka from Arsenal. That 8.0 price is, I just want to ensure that I have a player at that price in my team to ensure that I'm flexible depending on how things, play out throughout the season. And then the last player who's going to round out my midfield is Leon Bailey from Aston Villa at
Shout out my man from Riyadh,
Right? Jamaican youth is playing. So I cannot be, I'm happy that the he's had as successful a preseason as he's had. I wish he didn't score, in the last game against Manchester United, because I actually had him in my draft before that. And I was hoping he was kind of going to go under the radar, but it is what it is. He's looking good. Even if he doesn't start, I see him getting enough game time to at least make a little bit of a difference. At 5 million, I'm not expecting the world from him. So we'll see how he continues to go along. And then just a couple of 4.5 million pound players to round out the midfield in Andreas Pereira and Da Silva. Both of them look like they're going to be getting the starts for their respective team. They play a little bit further up the pitch, in center, attack, and mid. So just kind of leaving them on the bench. And then up front, I have Gabriel Jesus, who has been a real shock emergence from Arsenal. Homie has been scoring nonstop. I think he's at 3 goals in 3 games in preseason now. He's looking sharp. He looks like he's already settled in with the Arsenal boys already. So I'm excited to bring him in. His ownership is the highest in the game. So also don't want to go without him for that reason. So we'll see how he gets along. I'll be keeping a close eye on him because, as I said, that $8 million price is easy to swap to someone else if someone else from the midfield kind of pops off.
Yep.
And then lastly, the last two plans, just a little fodder at 4.5. He'll be sitting on the bench. I don't expect him to play. He could be any 4.5 striker. And then Harry Kane to round things out. I know the big debate is Kane versus Haaland, and I have Kane right now. I know there's a lot of hype about Haaland. Kane, however, looks razor sharp. As a Chelsea fan, I also really trust Conte's training regiments. He's really been working these guys throughout preseason. I just think Kane's going to be kind of smooth sailing to kickstart the season. I don't really have any any ill feelings about going with him over Haaland. And hey, if Haaland pops off and it needs to be a quick swap, they're the same price, so I'm not too worried there. But that's essentially my draft right now. The captaincy armband is of course on Mo, and Kane as the vice captaincy as well. That's just my team right now to kick things off.
Interesting. Because as I look at your team, a couple things come to mind. The first thing that comes to mind is Harry Kane. Mm-hmm. That's what I find shocking to have in your team. Not because it's Harry Kane. That's not what it is. It's about the fixtures that are upcoming for Tottenham the same way or in comparison to a City and Haaland. So that's what actually strikes me as like, whoa, okay. That's a little different, but you trust in them Hotspurs. I see you. I definitely see you. So with respect to your whole overall team, question I have is that you have quite a few 4.5 players.
Yes.
Right? You have De Silva, Plange, Andreas, Dallas. You have the four of them, not to mention a keeper who's not going to be playing. Aren't you a little worried about how thin your bench is possibly going to be looking? Or do you have confidence that a player like Andreas will get regular playing time and, you might even see them 1-pointers if need be instead of a 0? How do you feel?
No, good question. On the bench, one, I'm actually quite confident in the bench playing. I really think Andreas Pereira is going to be the starter. I think he's going to be the starter for Fulham. And De Silva, with Eriksen leaving, I think it just opens up that spot for him. He started playing more last season. He was getting game time come the end of the year, and I think it could potentially be his spot. But that's of course not set in stone. That's partially what I've been leaving this extra 0.5 back here for, because if I need to just quickly, swap out one of those midfielders to a 5.0 midfielder who's playing a little bit more regularly, it's something that I'm open to doing for sure.
Bet. I hear you. So you have your team, and I see that you have it built around basically Salah, Kane, and then 2 other players at the forward and midfield position at about that 8 million and big at the back. So being big at the back here, it can explain why your midfield might look a little thin.
Absolutely.
Playing 4.
Yep.
Playing 4. Big at the back is definitely something I was thinking about. And I'm liking the fact that you started your team. I'm just not as convinced as you that big at the back is the way to go this year.
That's fair.
There's so much potential in the midfield. I'm glad that you left 0.5 in the bank to be able to be flexible.
Yeah.
Definitely need to be flexible. Not the team that I personally would go with, but I like it.
Fair. See, and I think that's where we differ. I think you see more points in the midfield. I see more points in the defense, or the midfielders that I see really racking up the points are midfielders that are a little bit out of my price range. Like, I think, KDB is going completely under the radar right now, and I think wrongly so. I've really actually considered going Kevin instead of Kane. Again, kind of why that 0.5 is still in the bank for me, because it's still something I'm weighing up. I see him really having a big season. He's fit, he's healthy. Son is also another one that you can never really put out of your mind too far. So that's just me. That's how my team's currently set up. It's subject to change. We'll see how it goes.
Of course. So if you were to have a different team with a different makeup, what would that be? How would you have done it?
So as an example of a different option that I'm also toying with is actually going with 3 premiums instead of just leaving 2. So the main premiums in this particular draft, I have Mo, of course, he's a mainstay. I have Kane, and I've actually put in Kevin De Bruyne, who, of course, I was just saying I'm pretty big on this year, and those are the three mainstays. I'm playing a 4-5-1 in this with this particular team. Raya, he could be any 4.5 mid. Any 4.5 keeper. Trent, Cancelo, James, and Diego Dalot at the back again. James and that Man U boy can definitely switch to other players for sure. It's probably only Trent and Cancelo that would stay. In the midfield, I've gone with Bailey, Neto, and Rashford to actually accompany them. If Ronaldo doesn't, and it doesn't seem like he really wants to play right now, but if he doesn't end up coming back, the trio of Ronaldo, Martial, and Sancho could be the starting three for Man U. Not saying that Rashford's going to light the world on fire, but at 6.5, he could be a decent buy. And then Neto, I'm a little bit concerned with Neto. I know a lot of people are picking him. His ownership is quite high. Raul Jimenez just went down, got injured. He's going to be out for, I think they're saying, a month. And so that kind of almost guarantees that he's going to be starting, but it also takes away a lot of attention that he'd be getting from the defense. Raul makes a ton of space for his midfielders, so that could affect him as well. And then on the bench, Nico Williams, he's going to be starting for Forest. Greenwood, another, fodder, and then Planche again. So the bench in this team is paper thin. I just want, I want to say that off the jump. Paper thin bench. All the funds are into the team. So, this is what my 3 premium draft is looking like.
Yeah, definitely not as much flexibility that you had. I mean, you have 3 premiums. If you ever needed to be flexible, you can always downgrade the likes of a Cancelo, downgrade the likes of a James, and still be flexible and create that flexibility, rather, if you ever needed to maybe update and upgrade Neto or upgrade Bailey.
Yep.
That's always an option as well. So although all the money may have been spent, you are still a little bit flexible depending on how you want to play it. So for a 3 premium build, I like it.
It's not bad.
I actually like your bad. 3 premium build.
It's not
better
bad.
than your other team.
This is a team, if you want to get really aggressive to start the season, I could see this team raking up a ton of points, especially if you're hitting, captaincy the right way. If Mo goes off and you're hitting, if Kevin goes off when they play Bournemouth in the second game week, that could be a big turnaround score as well. So it's just one of those drafts that I like. I'm probably a little bit too scared to run with it to start the season, but that's my 3 premium.
Hey, bet. I like it.
All right. Well, listen, AC, I just kind of went through both of my teams. I know we're excited to take a look at yours. What do you have going on? What are you thinking for your team? How are you setting up? What are the options you're looking at right now?
Okay, so bringing up my team right here. When I'm looking at my team, I've tinkered around with it so much that it's definitely going to change, just like everybody else's team. But at the time of recording, and this is actually when I got back from work, this is the team that I'm set up with. The major thing that I'm actually going to point out early is how much money I have remaining.
Oh, wow.
Because that's how much I'm still tinkering with the team. And I'll explain why. So in the back, I'm looking at having rotating goalkeepers between Sanchez and Raya. Both at 4.5. I never think it's a good idea, personally, to spend more than 9.5 million on the goalkeepers. And if you're ever in a great situation, you might even be able to get your goalkeepers down to 8.5, having a playing 4.5 keeper, set and forget, and also a 4.0 keeper. It could be the keeper from the same team, or it could be the possibility of having a playing 4.5 keeper. Now look what's going on in Leicester. Who's going to be starting goalkeeper there? If memory serves me right, What's the 4.0 keeper from?
I think they
Is
got
it was it
they
Ward?
got Ward right now, but
It's Ward, right?
they
It's
have I
probably
think
gonna get a keeper.
yeah, they've been hunting for a keeper for
Of
sure.
of course, but I'm just saying that brings your goalkeepers down to 8.5 with the possibility of a playing Ward. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't go that route, but I think 9.0 for goalkeepers is a sweet spot. The one thing that happens though when you're rotating, it's never more frustrating when you bench the keeper who scores points and you play the keeper who conceded. It's the most frustrating thing when it comes to having a rotating goalkeeper lineup. So that's what I would recommend to anybody watching is just be aware. Just be aware, be wary that that could happen. So I know it's going to happen to me. That's just my luck, but we love playing the game and we're going to do it anyway. In the back, obviously have to have Trent Alexander-Arnold. There couldn't be anybody else there. First one in the defense all the time. Last 3 years, no brainer. You know what it is. Williams at 4.0 going to be playing again. No better way to get into a 4.0 defense than a playing 4.0 who has the potentially of keeping clean sheets. Forest was a good defensive team last year in the championship. Now, I didn't watch that many games. As a matter of fact, I watched 0 games. However, I do like the fact that they conceded very few goals in the championship. Not to say it's going to correlate to the Prem, but it's a relatively good indicator.
For sure.
Cancelo, what do I have to say? Do I even have to tell you why Cancelo is in the team?
Hey, man.
Now, I know you have worries. I know you do have worries. I guess I don't have the same worries because the attacking threat of City is never going to disappear. You kind of have an idea of who it's coming through from the back, and it's coming from Cancelo. Now, the clean sheets are just the added bonus at 7.0. I wish I didn't have to pay that extra 0.5 for him, but he's putting up premium numbers. He puts up numbers better than midfielders in the same price range. So I do believe having 3 strong defenders is a must in everybody's build. I'm looking at Zinchenko now. I like how he can play multiple positions for Arsenal, whether that's playing in the back, whether that's playing in the midfield like he does for his home country. He has a lot of potential. Arteta has already said that his versatility is going to play into where he gets played on the pitch. So I'm really liking Zinchenko. I don't really call it a punt. He's coming from a championship team, a championship club. I think he is going to get lots of playing time with the 5 sub rule this year. It's going to be very interesting to see how that impacts
for sure
the Prem. But I have confidence right now. Zinchenko is going to get some attacking returns as well as some clean sheets for Arsenal, and their fixtures to start the season are pretty good. Then I have Aït-Nouri at 4.5. The Wolves, I do like how attacking Aït-Nouri is. He finds himself in the box when he's running up on the left wing. So I'm not saying that I'm expecting points from him, but I'll probably play Williams more than I play him.
Okay.
Right? But having him at 4.5 just to kind of feed into that bench, I really like that. I like not spending too much in my back line right now. I am not big in the back. In the middle, Salah, the armband's going to be on him. May as well get that out of the way. They're playing Fulham. It's a no-brainer. As a matter of fact, I'm even thinking about triple captaining him to start the season.
Hey,
if you look,
it's not a
go
bad.
Go ahead.
No, that's not a bad shout. I like that.
If you look at what he has done in the last 2 seasons, double-digit hauls to start the campaign. I think he may have even in the 20s. His memory serves me right. He had 20 points.
He always,
or 17 points. It was big.
Yeah, he always does good game week 1. His first game of the season is always good.
It's always good. So I'm so tempted to just say, you know what? Let me triple captain him, get it out of the way.
Get it out the way.
but I'm not sure that I have the balls. But I'm gonna get Diaz into the team. The Liverpool attack. The reason why I didn't go defense is because I think that there's a lot of playing time available for Diaz. Jota's not coming back anytime soon. So I think a lot of points are going to come. Liverpool has some very easy fixtures to start the first few game weeks. So I am really liking that as well. At 8.0, I have full confidence that he's going to get me some nice returns. Rashford is somebody who I'm looking at 6.5. It's too tempting to ignore. It's way too tempting to ignore. He had an injury last season, which hampered his play, led to the low points, led to him being priced where he is to start this year. And if Man U get on, which I hope they don't, but if Man U gets on and Rashford finds himself in the mix, especially considering the shakeup with Ronaldo and the playing time is going to be there for guys like Martial, Rashford, and the likes of them, right? Remember what they did a couple seasons ago when Ronaldo wasn't there. Man U was looking like a good team. Bruno was looking like the man.
Yeah, Bruno was.
If you didn't have Bruno in your team,
it
was a disaster. Statistics showed that Bruno and Ronaldo, not necessarily that great together. But when it's just Bruno, it's almost as if he makes guys around him better.
Yeah.
Can he do that for Rashford, who's looking healthy? That's what I'm wondering. He's the guy, 6.5. I got to take a chance. Andreas, 4.5, who's going to be playing for a team newly promoted. I have no faith in Fulham even staying up there. We'll see them again in 2 years. But at 4.5, he could fit into the bench. Now, Neto on Wolves, just like you, do have worries about Jimenez not being available. The partnership isn't necessarily going to be there. Who is distracting the defense to allow Neto into open space, move without the ball? I don't know. I feel like with Jimenez there, Neto, you're the next guy who they're going to be shutting down. And Wolves, they're not really the type of team to score a lot, although they have been scoring some multiple goals during the preseason. But that's preseason.
Yeah.
That's preseason. Now up front, I'm going 2 up front in Jesus and Haaland. I think Haaland, how young he is, how explosive he is, the pace this boy has is absolutely insane. I think he's going to run around some of the defenses in the Prem. Now, I know Prem is a tougher defensive league, more physical. The physicality is not for everybody. But at his young age, at his size as well, with the speed that he has, playing on a top club, when you have somebody like KDB distributing the ball to you, he's going to be the top scoring forward. Then Jesus. I'm too scared not to have him. Plus, I love what he's doing in Arsenal. He is on fire. But I think at 8.0 for a forward who has a lot of potential, who's really taking the spot away from him. I mean, Nketiah's there, but Jesus is the guy who is going to be the focal point of the offense, in my opinion. So I'm really liking this team. I still have Taylor on the team, who I think he's going to see some minutes here and there for Nottingham Forest. And I have 1.5 in the bank, like I said. So this team, by no way, if I'm looking to shake this up, I know I can strengthen Andreas or Neto and have that extra 1.5 to spend. Maybe I upgrade 8 Nuri if I do decide to go big in the back. But there are a couple guys who are probably going to be staples on my team, and that is the Salah, Jesus, and the Haaland. I think for sure those guys and Trent are simply not leaving my team.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
This is the team that I'm likely to build around with those 4 that I mentioned. But the team that I've experimented with is actually a team without Mo Salah. Now, on this team without Mo Salah, I'm just going to highlight some of the big differences.
Yeah, sure.
I still have Haaland, but I'm only going 1 up top. So I'm actually looking to play a 4-5-1 formation with a set and forget keeper. So the proper way I should have done this, of course, was started from the back, but I have Mendy in the back, 5.0. I do think that Chelsea, even though they've been leaky during the end of last season, they've still been leaky in the preseason. I don't mind going Mendy at 5.0. I think he's a nice set and forget. And I even have the funds to get a playing 4.5 goalkeeper just in case. So 9.5, that's the max I recommend spending in the back. I have Robertson. Now, why didn't I go Trent? Because I need that extra 0.5. So it's a money move. I have Reece James for the potential attacking returns. I'm not looking at him as anybody who can do anything when it comes to clean sheets. Although I do have a set and forget Mendy, James, I'm looking at him as more of a player who's getting me the attacking returns and once in a while, hopefully getting me some clean sheets.
Okay.
The double Chelsea is not ideal, but their fixture run to start the campaign cannot be ignored, regardless of their poor form. They have some great fixtures to start. If I'm looking at this, up until game week 7, Everton, Tottenham, but they're at home. Leeds, Leicester, Southampton, and West Ham, again, at home. Only Liverpool, and look what comes after. I think that there's something to be said about the Chelsea players. The fixture, if there's a time to jump in early, it might be to start the campaign. That's my logic behind the team that I'm going with. I have Cancelo because I'm still going to need that wing back player who I know is going to get me. I think going without two proper wing backs, in this case, Cancelo and Robertson, is dangerous. So that's why I have Cancelo on my team. I have White. He burned me last year with the injury. Came back, start racking up the points. I wanted him last year. I want him again. I like how he plays. I liked him since he's been with Brighton. And I liked him when he made the move over to Arsenal. I have a special place in my heart for White. And then 8 Nuri again, just as that 4.5 playing defender who makes their way up the pitch, keeps me flexible. Not sure if I showed this to you earlier, but I have 0.5 in the bank, or if I had said that earlier. So it's only 0.5 in the bank. I don't really want to spend that on a 5.0 defender because I'm not looking to play and have 5 playing defenders. In the middle, KDB. I'm not ignoring him. We saw what he did. You benefited from what he did. He's actually somebody, if you remember when we were talking, I brought him into my team early. If you recall. And then I took him out. But I brought him in too early. You brought him in at the perfect time. So this time I'm starting the season off with him again. Same with, look at the fixtures, man. Do you see the green? Anyone for City is really going to be green, but it's just, if there's a time to go with KDB, it's any time really, but it's now. It's really now. Oh man. I still have Diaz. I feel I get nervous not having somebody in the midfield from Liverpool. They regularly score the most goals in the Premier League. They regularly keep the most clean sheets in the Premier League last couple of seasons.
Most goals behind City, for sure.
From behind City.
Behind
City. It's too hard to ignore not having any defenders and midfielders from City, which is why you already, and from Liverpool, which is why you already see 5 players on my team. Still taking a chance on Rashford. 6.5, too tempting. He's going to be playing. 8.0 on Saka. Now, because I don't have Jesus up front, I'm still betting on Saka to be able to deliver some attacking returns. And I can't ignore Lingard at 6.0. Jesse Lingard at 6.0. Yes, it's a 1-year deal. Yes, he's playing with Nottingham Forest, but do you remember what he did with West Ham?
No, for sure.
That Jesse Lingard, if that Jesse Lingard shows up for Nottingham Forest, I believe, who cares about the W's? He's not or clean sheets. He's not a defender. Fantasy points don't come from who wins or from who loses entirely. Whether he wins or loses, all I need is a goal or 2 or an assist. I feel as though Lingard being the focal point of that team, there can possibly be some potential. And if things don't start off right at 6.0, I can move him out for somebody. And at 6, even though 6.5 isn't the greatest, but I still have that 0.5. It's not much. It's not really much of an upgrade. I don't think I'd spend it on Lingard per se, but I'm confident in having this middle playing 5. I have confidence playing all 5 of them week in, week out, that there's going to be points up front. Haaland, 2 bench fodders. Don't have to think about Archer and Taylor.
Okay.
And that's my team without Mo Salah. Sure. Now, there's so many different things we could have considered. We could have considered building a team around Son and Kane. We could have considered teams with set and forget keepers only, like better than a Mendy, like an Allison or
Ederson,
or Ederson. Exactly. The problem with that is, do you really want to use that third spot for a team that has great attacking returns, or teams with great attacking returns like Liverpool, like City? So I think when it comes to building a team, it really depends on how you're strategizing. Are you looking to play a certain formation? Are you looking to build around specific players? Are you only building around fixtures to start the season, and then that determines how you build out the rest of the team? And I think with everybody having some favorite players or players who they want in their team, no matter what, it's heavily going to influence who you pick and keep our teams from all being so template, even though there will, of course, be template teams.
For sure.
It's inevitable.
Yeah. Yep. Well, AC, I think the teams look good. I definitely love your first one. I think anyone going without Mo is definitely, marching to the beat of their own drum. They're a little rogue. How it plays out for them is yet to be seen. I remember a couple of years ago, there was a guy who actually ended up winning the whole thing, who went without Salah the whole year. So it certainly can be done, but I won't be taking that gamble, at least not right now. So we'll see how it pans out. Love the first team though, for sure. All right, guys, it's been a real pleasure sharing this content with you. Hope you enjoyed the drafts. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Turn your notification bells on so you can see when we upload the next video. We'll catch you on the next one. This is Bri and AC from Up Your Rank FPL. Peace. Have a great day. Be sure to like and subscribe.